Welcome. My name is Peter Strong. I'm a professional mindfulness therapist and I offer online psychotherapy sessions via Skype for help with anxiety and depression, with PTSD, and also for help with addictions. So I'm often asked if online psychotherapy is as good as meeting a therapist in person, and from my experience it's actually often better than meeting in person. It really depends on what you are trying to do. Some people like to find a therapist to just talk to about their problems, to get advice, and to form a relationship with, basically to help them better understand their psychological process and so on. And that traditional approach is very good for many people, but most of the clients that I work with have already tried that approach and find that just talking about emotional suffering, anxiety, depression, obsessions as in OCD, just talking about these things is not enough. So when I developed mindfulness-based Skype therapy, I wanted to try and deliver practical methods that you can use to help you heal from anxiety and depression and other forms of emotional suffering. So mindfulness therapy is much more practical, and it's designed to give you the tools to work with your mind more effectively. So there's less talking and more action, if you like, more focus on working with the underlying psychological structures that create anxiety and depression, working with those patterns of reactive thinking that feed anxiety and depression, looking at the imagery of your emotions. That's a very powerful part of the mindfulness therapy system that I have developed over the years. Looking at the imagery is very, very important indeed. The imagery of emotions is really the primary structure in the mind that causes the emotion. And so we need to examine that emotional imagery and see how it works. And then we can change the imagery. It's not surprising that people say they feel overwhelmed, for example. That implies right there in that statement that the imagery of that emotion is very large and also very high in the way they see it in the mind. It's above them. That's why it's overwhelming. The imagery is very large, and that is what creates that overwhelming feeling. So by changing the imagery, we can actually help heal the emotion. We can help it reduce in intensity until it no longer creates the emotional suffering. So working with imagery is vital. And all of these techniques that I'll be teaching you during these online psychotherapy sessions are techniques that can be taught very easily through Skype. They do not require forming a personal relationship with a therapist. They simply require you learning how to do these methods and then how to apply them. And I will teach you in great detail how to do that. Another advantage of the online format is that it really leaves you more empowered than taking on the role of a patient and going to see a therapist in a medical setting. that tends to disempower people. It makes them feel more like a victim and more helpless, and that is not going to help you in the long run. You need to learn how to work with your mind. You need very positive methods and strategies to work with your anxiety or depression or addiction. Another reason why people like the online format is it just feels more comfortable. It's more convenient. It's easier to fit into a busy schedule. I work a lot with people who stay at home for one reason or another. Maybe they work from home, or they are looking after children and can't leave home. Or, of course, I work a lot with people suffering from anxiety disorders, such as agoraphobia or driving phobia, which makes it very difficult to leave home in the first place. So there are many advantages, but the overall advantage is that it just makes it much more accessible. And good psychotherapy should be accessible. It should not be hard for you to access. So if you're interested in mindfulness therapy, then you can go to my website and learn a lot more about the approach. And if you have any questions, you can certainly email me and ask your questions. If you would like to schedule a Skype therapy session with me, then please go ahead, go to the contact page and email me and tell me what times work for you and what you've tried before, and then I'll be happy to schedule a session with you and we can begin this process of mindfulness therapy. Most people see really quite dramatic changes after just a few sessions because you're able to apply the methods that I teach. It's not like a treatment approach where you just have to wait until the next treatment session. You'll be able to start applying the mindfulness methods that I teach after the very first session, and you'll see results very quickly. So that's another advantage of online psychotherapy, and generally, typically, it's much faster. People do not expect to go for online sessions for years at a time. That's not the normal approach with online therapy. It's much more practically oriented than that. So if you'd like to get started with me, please contact me and we can schedule a session and you'll see for yourself how effective this can be. That's the most important thing with all psychotherapy, whether it's in person or online. Make sure that it feels right for you. Trust your instinct. Trust your intuition. That is a far more effective guide than the list of letters after the therapist's name. That does not mean that the approach that a therapist is offering is the right one for you. You must trust your feelings. That will tell you. And look for the results. As I say, if you do not see results within the first 3 or 4 sessions, then you should really question whether the psychotherapy is right for you. It may be good for other people, but it may not be appropriate for you. So do take that into account. Whatever kind of psychotherapy you are going to engage in, make sure that it feels right and that you see results within a short time period. So if you'd like to get started with me, and explore mindfulness therapy in more detail and online psychotherapy, then please contact me. Thank you.